Here's why Journey Together is the next fusion strike of the Scarlet and Violet era. My name is Riley, aka Pokemon Trader. I've been collecting, selling, investing in Pokemon for the past 10 years or so, since about 2014. And just like all of you, I got into it in the 90s, took some time off, and have been doing it ever since. Do I really think that Journey Together is the next fusion strike? Yes, I do, because of a bunch of factors that we will explore in this video. Let's just discuss briefly why Fusion Strike became the hype FOMO set that it is today. Number one, it was undervalued at release, and so people just overlooked it. Nobody wanted it. You could get it for like $80 a box. I got the case for, it was about $550 for the case. So do the math on that, whatever that number is. Nobody wanted it, and that's part of the reason why it eventually took off, right? Because anybody that did buy it was probably just using it to rip it. They weren't really collecting. Nobody was investing it. It was just go for the Gengar VMAX or bust. And I think part of the reason that nobody wanted it, even though from the beginning everyone realized that the Gengar VMAX was a card to be sought after, but the reason that nobody wanted it was because of the sets surrounding it. You had sets, big hitters like Evolving Skies, Celebrations, you had Brilliant Stars, all surrounding this set. So when it came out, nobody really thought that it was what it should have been. But at the same time, looked at objectively, one could have realized that it had all the makings of a really good set. It had a great chase card with a popular Pokemon, that is Gengar, and even the booster box itself was unique, right? You had Mew on it and a Mew on the ETB, and it was a bright pink, which was a little bit odd at the time, but now looking back and seeing how many booster boxes just have a lot of white on them, the pink really stands out. And for sealed collectors and investors like myself, they really like that, and it gives them something to make their collection pop. So the bit about the surrounding sets is really the key reason why I think at the time nobody wanted Fusion Strike. There were so many other sets that genuinely are better than Fusion Strike, but that doesn't make Fusion Strike a bad set. It just means that it wasn't quite as good as some of the others. Now let's talk a little bit about Journey Together, because I think while Journey Together doesn't quite compare to Fusion Strike, it's a bit of hyperbole to say that Journey Together will be the next Fusion Strike, but I do think it has promise. It doesn't have quite the chase card that the Gengar VMAX Altart has, right? It doesn't have as popular of a Pokemon. You've got Gengar VMAX, and then you've got Lily's Clefairy. So Lily and Clefairy, both pretty popular Pokemon and trainer. Clefairy still being a Gen 1 Pokemon. It's just never going to be as popular as Gengar, though. So there are the first reasons why I don't think it quite measures up to where Journey Together is, but there are a bunch of reasons why I think it is very similar to the Fusion Strike situation that we've seen lately. Number one, it does have all the Pokemon and trainer cards, which maybe not as popular in America, the trainer collecting, but still a very cool concept and arguably a more cohesive theme to the Journey Together set compared to Fusion Strike, right? Fusion Strike had the pink and it had Mew and Gengar, which were pink and purple. And you kind of had some ghost types in there, I guess, but it didn't really have the cohesive theme that Journey Together has, right? Even the name, Journey Together, symbolizes the journey between the Pokemon and their trainers. So you don't have quite the hitter that you had with Gengar, but you have a more cohesive theme. Something else that I think that makes it similar to Fusion Strike is the hype sets surrounding Journey Together. Obviously, we've got sets like Prismatic Evolutions, Destined Rivals, even 151 is still in print at this time in June 2025. So you have all of these other sets that people are way more excited to collect. And I might add, rightfully so. I do think, despite what it may seem of me making this video, that Destined Rivals and Prismatic and 151, maybe even Surging Sparks, are all just genuinely better sets than Journey Together. But that doesn't mean that Journey Together is a bad set. And because of those hype sets surrounding Journey Together, I think we're having a similar effect that we had with Fusion Strike. People are just overlooking it despite some clear indicators that it is at least a decent set. And at this point in time, 2025, you can pick it up on the secondary market for around MSRP. Just a few weeks ago, I picked up an enhanced booster box case for about $970, I think it was, and that comes out to right about MSRP. In addition to all that, you have the smaller set size as well as better pull rates for Journey Together, which may allow for less sealed product in the future. Again, similar to Fusion Strike, it didn't have this investing or collecting value that other sets like Prismatic have, and so people were just ripping it. And same thing for Journey Together. That is yet to be seen. That's speculative on my part, but it seems to be the case. To reiterate, the key point here that makes these sets so similar is not actually the sets themselves, but the surrounding sets. The surrounding sets were so sought after, so hyped, that people overlooked these not as good, of course, but decent sets that have pretty good collecting and investing value. But let's talk about some of the risks. Of course, there really are Pokemon sets that genuinely are not as good, right? You have a whole tier of sets from D all the way up to S tier, where Prismatic 151 would quite clearly be S tier. And Journey Together, while I don't think is D or even C tier, it's gonna fall somewhere in the middle there. And where that exactly is going to land is yet to be seen. We all have to see where the market places it overall, given enough time, right? We haven't even had a major restock or reprint of Journey Together, so we have no idea where it's going to land in that tier list. Whereas with Fusion Strike, it's been enough time now that we can clearly see it is at least A tier, quite possibly S tier, along with Evolving Skies, right? You have Evolving Skies, then Fusion Strike. The last point on why I think Journey Together really has the investing potential of Fusion Strike, while again, I'll admit, I don't think it will ever reach the hype levels that Fusion Strike is currently reaching at $800 a box, above Brilliant Stars, above Lost Origins. I think that's pretty crazy. Another reason that I think Journey Together could have a similar effect and a similar trajectory to Fusion Strike is the enhanced booster boxes themselves. Now, I know right now, at least in America, the hype is all about the unenhanced booster boxes, simply because they are rarer. But if you take all of the sets, just from Scarlet and Violet, or even from Sword and Shield as well, you have all these booster boxes, none of which have a box topper. And this isn't one of those jumbo card box toppers that we used to get that you didn't really have any idea what to do with. People just kind of had it. Maybe you displayed it, maybe just threw it in a box like I did and just had no idea what to do with it. You have Ens Reshiram that is unstamped, and then you have the stamped version that is the box topper, right? So you can grade it. It's just the same size as every other card. It's unlike any other booster box that we have in the modern era. So the fact that we have an enhanced booster box is what is making me think that Journey Together has some of that Fusion Strike potential. So where should you place your money with this set? It would definitely, in my opinion, be the enhanced booster box. Now, we don't know if we are going to get a reprint of Journey Together at all. Certainly we'll get restocks, but will they do a reprint? Maybe, but we certainly don't know if they will ever reprint the enhanced version. Obviously, already they have the enhanced and unenhanced version, so it's quite possible that they never reprint the enhanced booster box ever again. And when people realize that, or when Pokemon Company comes out and reprints, say, the unenhanced version, you're going to see those enhanced booster box prices skyrocket. So to end all my videos, I like to give a little lasting advice for sealed investing and some now advice. So the lasting advice would be something like one of my other videos that talks about the mid-era theory, which is look where people aren't looking. Don't follow the hype FOMO sets. Don't FOMO into those sets. Don't invest heavily into the sets that everyone else is investing in simply because it's the hot new thing. And the now advice is go and buy Journey Together enhanced booster box cases, preferably if you can. And another reason for that is because I believe the cases are going to be harder and harder to come by, right? We may not see cases for hardly any products available for the next 2 years. Certainly, most likely through the 30th year celebration, because obviously right now, Pokemon Center, Target, Best Buy, GameStop, all of these massive big box companies that offer Pokemon are only doing 1 or 2 product limits. That's about it. You know my thoughts on Journey Together, so go buy it.